What industry do you hope won't exist in 10 years? Scam call centers. They'll be replaced by AI scam call centers. Oh my god. I never thought of this. But you're right. Imagine how many calls they could make from a server farm, when you don't have to have actual people slowing things down. And to make matters worse, it learns what works and what doesn't. So over time, it will only get better and more deceitful. Replicating yours, your friends, and yours family's voices and learning the speech patterns to call other family members as you. Man, the future is gonna be crazy. Everything as a subscription. As a tech worker, I understand why this is so popular, but god do I hate it. Some subscriptions can genuinely offer amazing value to consumers. My problem is the mass adoption of subscription on products and services that have no business being a subscription. Those that exist solely so companies can make more money off of you. Not everything should be a subscription. Right? I despise it. Some of the most popular apps now are subscription only and I refuse to use them. Others I've snatched up for lifetime one-time payments before they went subscription. I'll never buy an app every damn year for 10x the total cost, it's insane. Only subs I've ever used will be utilities, including media which refreshes. Bug fixes are not a reason to pay again. Pops always told me to get a hard copy of everything, so I opted for the Adobe CS5 box and not the download. I may have a 12-year outdated Photoshop, but it still works and it's fucking mine forever face with tears of joy. Screw Adobe's subscription model. Right? I fucking despise it. Even something silly as a bad coloring app wants a $8.99 monthly subscription, that's Disney Plus with ads MFs. Don't forget to create an account with us so we can sell so you can save your work haha, literally everything. The worst is a subscription to activate heated seating in your own car. Third-party student loan consultants. I used to work as a federal student loan collector for a Department of Education contractor. I have horror stories about borrowers who were purposefully deceived by these people, the worst of whom was someone who thought a consolidation she paid for completely eliminated her obligation. What these legally gray assholes do is trick people into paying to have free paperwork done on their behalf. Sure, they have the tiny fine print disclosures, but they're extremely predatory and make me sick. Getting rid of them could be legislation worthy, given that they interfere with federally owned debts. MLMs, pyramid schemes. The amount of FB posts I see that are like join my book exchange. Send 6 books, get 36 back. Variations include wine bottles, kids' toys, etc. Tells me pyramid schemes are not going anywhere, because people are not smart enough to realize these are literally the definition of a pyramid scheme. That's why I have this fantastic new idea for a business model, the inverted funnel plan. Instead of your money funneling down into some fat cat's new yacht fund, you flip it around and start funneling money to you. And the best part is, the more people you hire, the wider your funnel. Pharmacy benefit managers, PBMs. Look them up. They're basically blood-sucking middlemen that sit between hospitals and health insurers. Supposedly created to control prescription drug costs and manage formularies, but they actually drive prices up. One of the many terrible causes of high medical costs in the States. It's not the PBMs alone that drive up the price, it's the combination of every single company in the supply chain. PBMs are often easily blamed by the other companies to hide their own drug price inflation because it's easy to blame a negotiator and call them a middleman. Don't get me wrong, I agree with you, PBMs are terrible too, but wouldn't it just be better if medical insurance went away, or even better, eliminating the industry of corporate lobbying that prevents the government from going after the medical industry? Telemarketers. I think it's funny that we already have telemarketing robots calling call screening robots. Personally, I just use Tasker to auto-drop any call from a number that isn't in my contacts. The problem I have is that all of the telemarketing calls I get, either from bots or from real people, are calling me using phone numbers spoofed from my contacts list. I can't refuse to answer a call from my daughter, but I'm really pissed when it's not my daughter calling, but some scammer using my daughter's phone number. Everyone always wants a better phone, but people never complain enough about this. I can't believe the phone part of phones is by far the worst part of the experience. The fact there is a way to spoof numbers so easily in 2023 is a monumental failure of the telephone system. Having formerly worked for both Verizon and AT&T, I can assure you that this isn't a failure of those companies. It's a boost to their profit. They're paid by telemarketers to help telemarketers spoof numbers. It's really easy to do this in 2023 when the entire telecommunications industry is responsible for the spoofing in the first place. Real telemarketing died shortly after the federal do not call list. There is a reason you aren't getting phone calls from Macy's, or the local furniture store, or insurance companies anymore. What you are getting are scam calls. Specifically scam warfare from places like India that extracted $5.8 billion from the pockets of Americans last year. And not just any Americans, usually the most infirm, elderly, disabled, kinda dumb or otherwise compromised Americans. When I first enrolled in the do not call list I thought this would help. Got a spam call a while later and told the lady that I was on the do not call list and she straight up said I don't care and went on with her pitch. At this point if you have the time, you take up all their time if they are live and not a bot, make them waste their time on you instead of someone that might be taken in by their ruse. More than a few YouTubers have made it their job to fuck with these guys. The concert ticket mafia. Ticketmaster/StubHub/Live Nation. Fuck them. ETA. I know those entities aren't really an entire industry. They basically have the market monopolized, though. No shit. A few years ago I wanted to get Garth Brooks tickets. The venue had this system set up to keep scalpers aka Ticketmasters from grabbing a bunch of tickets. I logged into the website at the exact time the website said and had to keep hitting refresh for a fucking hour and a half. By the time I could get in there was one ticket left. One. Then guess who started advertising tickets? Yup. Fucking Ticketmasters. Fuck 'em. The venue probably had a small number of tickets actually available on the site, and then sold most of them to Ticketmaster intentionally. Ticketmaster's entire business model is being the bad guy so venues can secretly charge higher prices. Those bullshit fees don't all go to Ticketmaster, they get split between Ticketmaster and the venue. To be more clear, many artists get cuts as well, and Ticketmaster is now massive enough they own many venues. That's my point though. The venue's site said they weren't selling to middlemen, only the public. All a big fucking scam. The troubled teen industry. Look up Nexpo's video on Elon's school and you'll see what I mean. Abusing minors for money shouldn't be an industry. Didn't realize this would get so much traction, so if you're interested in helping advocate against TTI, head over to r/troubled teens and join our little crew. As a former student, prisoner, I could not second this enough. The facility I was sent to got shut down a number of years ago, but there are still many other thriving programs. Some of the girls who also went there are now working on a documentary to shed some light on how counterproductive and downright criminal these places are. One of the facilities I went to recently was shut down because of a class action lawsuit. I'm very proud TBH. Fuck those creepy groomers who drove us to the middle of nowhere, and told us we were worthless and nobody would value us and then drove us back and pretended like nothing happened to the other staff/therapists. Phew, I'm so glad I get to speak whenever I want now and eat food or drink water whenever I want now. That was definitely beyond insane. Senior John's Military Academy? I got sent, kidnapped by two dudes my parents hired, there and it just got shut down after class action lawsuit. I dated a guy who went through one of these programs and was abused horribly there. Just weeks into dating he admitted to me he was an alcoholic who had struggled since he was a teenager. He drank a whole bottle of vodka a day, plus pills and occasional cocaine, as a result of receiving, instead of help, further trauma from these despicable organizations. For those wondering, we did get him help and I helped him detox. Medical note, do not try to do this without medical help, it will kill you. I had to drag him to the hospital and he only barely averted life-threatening shock, and though we are not in touch today, I hope he has maintained his sobriety. It was unbelievable why disturbing how his parents and society let him down as a boy. I wanted to update to add that I met him when we were both in our early 30s, meaning the trauma he faced had already impacted over a decade of his entire adult life when all he needed was proper support and healthcare. Not to say you can flick a wand and end someone's addiction, but he was decidedly far worse off due to being sent to be abused rather than helped, all for some soulless fucks to make a buck. My brother and I lost a friend to one of these places. Started to act up in school and the next day he was gone. We didn't know where he went, parents said he was away at wilderness school. We were in Boy Scouts at the time so it was like, yes sure makes sense. 6 months later we were at his funeral, you could still see the rope marks on his neck in the casket. Once the truth came out of where he really was and what kind of place it was, the parents were ostracized by basically everyone in town. That was 22 years ago too, so it find it absolutely insane that these places still exist. 24-hour propaganda media outlets masquerading as news. Thanks for watching this video. Hit the bell next to subscribe so you never miss a video. Like, comment and subscribe if you are new on the channel.